Hey guys, welcome to another New World video. In today's video, we will be continuing our testing on the new Season 2 PTR, and today I wanted to test out fishing. With Season 2 comes huge changes to fishing, of course, and I've been very excited about them. As someone who enjoys fishing in New World, as well as every other MMO I've ever played, it is a time way overdue that this profession gets some attention. So I spent about 9 hours running around, trying things, reading data mines, talking to Mix, basically tapping every single available resource I had to see what exactly has changed. And now that I have, I wanted to share it with you guys. So let's get into it. So let's get started by first briefly reading over the posted patch notes and see what changes were on the PTR cycle. I won't of course read over all of it, but there are a few lines that are important for us. They changed the effects of all baits. Baits now only affect rarity. Rebalance the usability of all baits. Some are now only effective at certain times of day. When using legendary bait in addition to salmon, you can now catch fat salmon. Fish have scattered all over Eternum and now find themselves in new homes. Legendary fish now have new homes, and there's a chance to catch them anywhere. Those are the big ones that affect things the most, but also, they're not correct. Not even close. This is exactly what I was referring to when I made the video on the hard gear reset. The patch notes, the confirmations, all of it rarely reflect what happens in game. But anyway, I will explain as I go and you will see what I mean. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the redistribution of the fish. This is due of course to them removing First Light for the time being, and not wanting to make some fish impossible or unreasonably rare to catch. So almost every fish common to rare have been moved. And no, I won't be wasting your time by reading them off, but it is important to know when this launches, because many of us have our favorite fishing spots to go to for specific fish, and there's always a chance that the fish isn't there anymore. So what I will do though is post the list on my Discord, and if you want to get a copy, to have it for checking on later, feel free to join it and grab it. This leads us to something equally if not more important. With the patch also came a completely new fishing loot table, and this new loot table changes everything. So this is it and you can see it now on screen. So briefly, let's talk about it for those who may not know exactly what they're looking at. I won't however explain how the roles work or the thresholds in detail. I've made an entire video covering this in detail you can check, but there are some little things here that will have a huge impact. The first thing you will notice is there are now 3 entries for Fish Ultra. This is of course the legendary fish. Now, why would there be 3 entries? Well, the fresh versus random is the geofenced versus any. What I mean by this is geofenced are the legendaries that are locked to a particular zone in which you are fishing. And the fresh or the any is the new loot bucket where you can catch any legendary fish in the game in any zone. And the important thing to note here is there is a very small difference in the roles. This is a very small window as you can see, so it won't in fact be that rare of an occurrence to catch legendary fish from the entire pool. And the second ultra fish, this is also a new entry, and this one's interesting. This one was added to give 1-star hotspots the chance to give a super rare world legendary. However, knowing what we know about luck from my luck guide, the exciting thing here is now this has created an opportunity to build your set so you can now target fish legendaries even from 1-star hotspots. This of course wasn't possible before. And the final thing I want to talk about is this changed entry regarding treasure chests. If you have watched my old fishing luck guides or are familiar with fishing, you will immediately see it changed. It is now called Fishing Chests Fresh. Notice the chests part. This is important and leads us to our next cool find that wasn't in the patch notes. With this patch, they have completely reworked the chests we get while fishing, but in an unexpected way. This is both amazing and fun, and potentially disappointing to a few people I know. Let's cover first why it might be disappointing. The old treasure chests that gave us a few gems and some gold bars, those are not getting changed. So if you've saved like 200 of them like some I know, well there isn't really a point. They are still in the game and they're not getting reworked. Now, to why this is the case and why it's so cool at the same time, even though it seems disappointing. What they have done instead is they have made this entirely new loot bucket in the fishing loot pool, and instead of it like in the past directing to a selection of items like gems and gold bars and music, it now directs to another sub loot pool containing 7 new chests. These chests are Fishing Treasure Chest. This is the one we had with the gems and crap in it. Fishing Treasure Chest Boot Tier 2. This is a chest which contains junk boots. These of course you can salvage to leathers, and it also potentially has a new special item I will get to later. Fishing Treasure Ore Tier 2. This chest, which contains junk ores that you can of course salvage for wood, also potentially has a new special item that I will get to later. The Fishing Treasure Good Provisions. This is a crate of rare food items. It's quite good, containing anything from oranges to sumptuous rabbit meat. Fishing Treasure Pigment Tier 3. This is a crate of mixed pigments as expected. Fishing Treasure Moat Tier 3. A chest with a selection of moats. And Fishing Treasure Gear Tier 3. And this is the jackpot crate. This one contains new fishing gear. randomly rolled exactly like any gear we loot from chests. It can roll tier 3 or tier 4 with 1 to 4 perks all relating to fishing, all the way up to gear score 590. It will also be one of the locations for you to get some new exciting bait that we'll cover in a moment. The coolest thing about this chest is that the gear you can roll will easily be potentially best in slot for fishing. It's completely random, which will allow you to farm and build actually unique fishing builds to better target fish. It's really quite cool, and you get it all from fishing, not crafting. And next, the baits. And I will tell you right now, in my video where I made a prediction, I was way off in regards to the bait rework. But I don't take full responsibility for that error, although I do apologize and I will explain why. When I read the patch notes, I assumed they meant what they said, like I'm sure most of you would have. However, what they did is completely different than what they said they were doing. First, they didn't remove weight from the baits and make it only affect rarity. Second, they did not rework in a meaningful way a single existing bait. All they did was add new ones. So if we're going to call this a rework, I guess. So with that out of the way, let's have a look at what they actually did. I won't cover the lower level baits because no one uses those anyhow, so why bother? But I will talk about the rest. So first, the bait you can gather. There are now 2 variants of this bait. One being the regular, like the night crawlers, woodlouse, glowworm, firefly, clam, and oyster as normal. These are basically the same as they've always been, with a very slight unimportant change to the luck. Nothing substantial that we need to cover here in detail, maybe later in a new luck video, but what's important to understand is that they are business as usual. Now, what is important though is they have a new rare counterpart, gathered in the same way alongside of them, but you will get it way less frequently. This new variant of this bait offer a very different bonus. They offer the same luck as the original, but then they also add bonus to size, as well as an operational qualifier of night or day depending on the bait. So this is the rework to the night and day that they spoke about in the patch notes. But they also add weight, which goes directly against what they posted about removing the size bait. In any event, these are quite amazing. However, they are no longer your best in slot bait as they have been in the past. You see, they have also added an entirely new tier of bait, and once again, directly opposite of what the patch notes say. But in any event, it is astonishingly good. So here are the 4 new baits: premium bread bait, premium cheese bait, premium fish bait, and premium meat bait. With the bread and cheese bait adding a huge 15,000 fishing luck, and the fish bait and the meat bait adding a huge increase to size. These baits have completely changed the fishing game. They now have created a scenario where you can 100% target fishing legendaries, completely eliminating chests from our potential catch pool. They've even allowed us to target fish legendaries in 1-star hotspots, where we couldn't even catch them before. They truly are quite amazing. However, they will also be equally rare. There are only 2 ways we can acquire this bait. First being from catching the fishing gear crates, the ones that contain the new fishing gear. There is a 1 in 7 chance per crate you might get a couple bait. The next way is in the salvage crates, the boots and the ore crates. When you open these crates, you have a 10% chance to receive along with the junk a bottle of fish pheromone. This works the same way as an artifact item would, like when you're making trophies. When taken to the cooking station with this in your inventory, you can now see the recipe for the bait. These are very rare, so it's more important than ever that a good fisherman have 3 major cooking trophies, the chef set, the cooking earring, everything in place to get as many bonus procs as possible. Now, you will notice that you will also need fish sauce to make this bait, which might make you wince of course, because roe is crazy expensive, and no way you're using that to make bait. Well, that brings us to the next huge change. This is in regards to the legendary bait. When you use legendary bait, you will catch salmon as always. However, what they have added now is a chance to catch a fat salmon, and it seems we catch them quite frequently. And the bonus here is that they can be caught anywhere. No hotspot required, no need to go to special places, do it in town if you like. All that's required is legendary bait. So when you catch these fat salmon, you then salvage them, and you will see they have a guaranteed roe roll, unlike the other fish, and they give big amounts. This is going to change everything for many reasons. First, roe will not be rare for long. It will drop in value quite fast because people will be getting tons of it. Second, now we can start to use brimstone food, which is amazing, and we can use it to make the new bait. Now, before you say that all sounds great, but the new brimstone legendary fish are rare, with only 3 hotspots or so. No, you're wrong again, and you're forgetting the redistributed legendaries and the removal of the geofencing. You can now catch these legendaries in any hotspot anywhere. And bonus, even in 1-star hotspots now. Now, if you fully want to target and catch as many as possible, your goal will be to max your fishing luck and hit brimstone 1-star hotspots. That'll be your way to produce the most in the most reliable way. But in reality, anywhere will work. Now, as a side note, if you're hoarding roe or fish sauce, maybe sell it now. Well guys, that just about covers it for now. I will, once this goes live and all of the changes are cemented, remake my luck guides with updated target fishing sets and builds. But for now, let's wait and see what parts make it to launch. And as always guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.